I'm Henry Gladstone and I'm a tennis pro.
Tell us a bit about how you got into tennis.
It was really kind of parents. They played. They were real sort of tennis club people like that. So you just pick it up. They used to take me with them, and I can make pictures of me as a tiny kid. Huge oversized racket in my hand, hitting the thing over the net. They spent time on my backhand. You really got to work at it. I mean, that's obvious in a way, but you've really got to put the time in, and you've got to have a professional mindset, because it's not just a sport, it's your life. And you've got to beat people. When you get there, when you get out and play, it's not about, I had a nice time. You've got to win, otherwise you don't earn anything, and not much anyway. You don't get very far.
How far did you get?
Not that far, really, if you think about... I was never in the top 100. I was sort of floating around in the 160s. That was my best. But that's good enough. It's like I could beat any amateur any day of the week, because I'm better than they are.
What's a day for you when you're preparing to do tennis?
Do tennis. There's a lot of physical stuff to do, just the basic, lots of running. Because if you can't run from side to side, up and down the court, retrieving balls and everything, you're not getting well.
Tell us about your worst injury.
Oh, my worst injury, a left knee. I was like a one-legged tennis player, really, because you couldn't really, all this stuff I'm talking about going from side to side. You wasn't going from side to side. You better go bloody walk. So you're not much use.
But you still played.
After a fashion. No, it was a bit like sort of in a three-legged race sort of thing where you tied together.
But with one leg.
But with one leg, yes.
So could you teach me how to do tennis?
Do tennis. The word we use is play tennis.
Right, well, I don't really do sports.
Well, I don't know whether I could teach you. I could teach you things, but you'd have to want to do it. Do you think it would excite you?
I'd feel quite nervous, actually. I don't like balls in my face.
Well, very few people do.
For the purposes of the interview, I'm willing to pretend.
Well, is that attractive to me as a teacher, though? Somebody who's pretending to listen to my lesson. You know what I mean? I'm used to people who've got a bit of drive behind them. I'd need you to have more enthusiasm than you're showing at the moment.
Okay, then yeah, I'd like to learn to play tennis.
Play is the word. Remember?
Play tennis. So I've learned that.
That gets us somewhere. We've got those machines that keep throwing balls at you, but I think you might be a bit overwhelmed by that.
It's a longer process than we thought.
Yeah.
Well, this is it. You see, you want to be, playing Andre Agassi immediately, and it's not going to happen.
He's retired, doesn't
he? But he'd still probably win. Plus, he might bring his wife, which is Steffi Graf, so, could be a little overwhelming for you.
Could you get us an interview with Steffi Graf?
Unlikely, I would say. But that begs a question. If you want to, is this not enough? Am I not enough?
Oh no, no. This is.
I know I'm Henry Gladstone and she's Steffi Graf, but maybe, is there something that I don't know that she might not know? That she might know. Is that what you're getting at?
No, just you are available, sir.
Yeah, I often am, to be honest.
Tell us about your main sponsor and how that all went down.
My main sponsor, well, it was a drinks manufacturer that actually got into trouble because there was an ingredient in that drink that was actually a bit dodgy. In retrospect, I should have gone for something like B&Q.
I bet Steffi Graf never took any steroids.
I don't really know Steffi Graf, though. I think that has to be established. I know you've obviously got a bit of a thing and you'd like to introduce it, but, She's in another universe. She's not in my universe.
Oh.
Ditto the Williams sisters, before you ask.
I'm gonna cross those questions off.
Yeah. This interview has reopened a few wounds, and I have had some analysis. You know, I've been going to have therapy about things like that. So it's uncomfortable, but then part of the therapeutic process is to face these.
You did do that short modelling stint.
Oh, for the cardigan, yeah. It's not my sort of thing. It was just unfortunate that was what they wanted me to model.
They were quite racy pictures.
Well, yes, the ones with the with the women on with the but they were wearing lycra. I mean, fine, and that's all very I could have just about got away with that myself, but it was the combination. It was the sort of because it was they were cardigans. They were trying to kind of lift it up, and the locations as well. On board cruise ships and goodness knows what. I mean, other sort of race, but nightclubs, that kind of thing. It was unusual, and really did. Who were they kidding? Who was I kidding? It didn't really work, and I don't think the sales particularly did go up as a result of it, because people couldn't associate that.
I mean, a lot of the pictures they couldn't use. It turns out because they were using tennis rackets in suggestive ways.
Which is hard to do, actually.
And I believe you're writing a book about the history of tennis and how the sport started.
Yes, I am, yes. It's interesting how it's all developed from what was really an upper class, public school type activity or the aristocratic families, they would do it. And it was very much a sort of genteel thing. To what we have today, which is a super sport. I don't know whether it'll ever get finished as a book. A bit of research just provokes more research, because you have to think, well, I didn't know that, or that doesn't sound reasonable, so you have to find something else that it goes on and on and on. So bring it all to something definitive. I don't know whether it's possible. So I may just produce some sort of book of photographs in the end, really, and just not bother with all that kind of detail.
If you were to describe your career in 3 words, how would you do that?
Not very good.